Look Outreach is underwritten by the generous support of Munter Enterprises. Family owned and operated since 1972, integrity is important, as our family name is on every project. Our word is our bond. Munter Enterprises. Just build it.
It's excellent. I love the space.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, we all have our favorites, and sitting with me today is John Anthime Miller, who I think is an extraordinary musician. He also happens to play an instrument that I have just been crazy about ever since I was 12 years old, the cello. And John is going to be performing a solo concert. Actually, he will have some accompaniment, but a concert this Friday night. So we invited John to come in so we could just catch up and tell you more about this concert. So welcome, John. Really nice to have you here.
Nice to be back.
Last time you were here, we just had the best conversation about French music. And,
yes.
Remember?
Bastille Day.
And you had brought your cello along, which is sitting right over there, by the way, and played at the end of the program. And it was just such an exciting visit. I couldn't wait to have you back.
I loved that concert, too.
Yeah, you did? Good.
Oh, yeah,
good.
it was an
Glad to
excellent
hear.
concert.
Hey, so, big undertaking. This Friday night at the Strand Theater in Hudson Falls, you're presenting 9 original compositions.
Yes, I am.
You are.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
So, it's been a little while since I've done a concert of original works, and I wanted to take this opportunity to sort of bring some of the work that I normally do either in New York City or abroad back to my community. Just been so supportive. So I think it's a lovely opportunity to sort of share that. And it's also a good opportunity for me to write things down that are otherwise just up here. When you're playing with, another musician, you've got to sort of have everything written down, and you can't necessarily have the chicken scratch notes of what you normally have when you're playing it during a production. So that's been a really nice exercise. And yeah, it is pretty monumental. I think there are 5 longer form pieces that are adaptations of scores that I've written for my theater company in New York City.
Which is the Circle Theater Company.
Yes, the Circle Theater of New York. Right. And one piece that I wrote for the National Theater of Luxembourg this past May.
You know, John, I want to ask you, I became aware of the cello, believe it or not, because of the Beatles and the Beatles producer. That was his favorite instrument. And so when you hear Eleanor Rigby, or you hear Yesterday, so I know I've just put it into the pop realm, but those are very sophisticated orchestrations and so beautifully executed. That instrument, and people say the cello is closest to the human range. You hear all kinds of reasons why people are attracted to the instrument. What attracted you to the instrument?
It's a funny story. It's not a romantic story at all. I wanted to sort of copy my sister, who played the violin, but not straight up copy her.
Yeah, right.
So I chose the cello instead. And I'd spent, I started listening to classical music when I was very young. And I knew what a cello was supposed to sound like. And for about 3 years, I really disliked the cello because there was a bit of a learning curve. It took me a little time to get the cello to start sounding like what I thought it was supposed to sound like.
Yes.
And I'm glad I did.
Yeah, no kidding. I think we're all glad you did. Now, in the compositions that you will be performing, you will have some accompaniment for some of it. Tell me about that.
So I have 3 very dear friends helping me out with this concert. My friend Marilyn Bueller is going to be accompanying me on piano for a number of pieces. My friend John Cantiello is doing some percussion for the piece Trail of Crumbs, my Hansel and Gretel adaptation. And then the first piece that I wrote for the Circle Theater of New York, The Mountain, has a lot of electronic elements in it, which I've needed to sort of mix and move around in order to adapt it to not be an hour long. So my friend Curtis Jones is going to be helping me with those tracks.
I've got it. The long form pieces, you've already alluded to this, but those really came out of compositions that you created for theater.
Correct.
Yes, okay, I got it. Was it with the Circle Theater?
Yes. The all except the adaptation of Codename Ashcan, which was a production put on by the National Theatre of Luxembourg in May.
Right, whom you also work with, correct?
Occasionally.
Yes, got it. Now, the shorter form, which we might consider more of a song as opposed to a longer form classical structure of sonata or something like that. Tell me about the songs.
Well, so the first one, it's funny. The shorter form solo cello pieces are different from the longer form, not just by the length, but their sort of origin.
Yeah, sure.
So these theater pieces, we start with a proposal, and I spend a lot of time working on form and plugging different things in to see if they work. These shorter cello pieces are sort of instantaneous. They come from like a moment of like, oh wow, I think that's going to really work, or something that was like really, really, really necessary for me to get down. So one of my earliest cello pieces, what I call Where Oh Where, is based off of like the ambient noises of Glens Falls compared to the ambient noises of Washington Heights.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh. Is there a lot of melody in there?
Define melody.
Yeah, that's right, yes. That you would have to do. I really highly encourage you to head over to Hudson Falls on Friday night. I think it's like $10 or something to get in. And I've seen John perform many times. He's been here many times. And I'm not, it's really true. He's an exceptional musician and composer with a very wide range of influences. That's the one thing, when you were here for Bastille Day and you were moving in and out of French seamlessly, and you knew popular songs from the 20s in France. I mean, there's just no limit to what John knows. And it all comes out through his artistry, which he's going to share with all of us Friday night. So the Strand, right on Main Street, right in Hudson Falls.
Yes,
I think that's called Main Street.
Yeah, I forget the number.
I think it's Route 4.
It's
right downtown.
Maxwell's.
You can't miss it. It's been a newly renovated theater. Jonathan Newell and the gang have been working on that for a long time. And it starts 7:30, you said?
Correct.
Good. Okay, and tickets are selling well, which I'm really glad to hear. So get in there and get some tickets. Well, John, it was great to see you. We have a treat for you because at the end of the program tonight, John is going to perform for us as well. So best of luck, and I can't wait for Friday night.
Thank you very much.
Very good to see you, John.
You as well. Always a pleasure.
Yes, likewise. See this interview again? You can head to our website, looktvonline.com.